The Toronto art scene gets a boost from a Humber graphic design grad. Ashley Mackenzie Barnes helps artists unleash their creative potential.
And homegrown Humber talent works the stage for laughs. Comedy students learn how to tickle Toronto's funny bone.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Humber News. I'm Bridget Trung. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Sean Bernstein. Today we're taking a look at Humber grads, specifically 3 Humber grads who are artists in unique ways. We'll see how they're making a difference and also find out how students graduating this semester feel about the next big step.
One of Humber's oldest and best-known programs is in advertising and graphic design. It prepares students to do artistic and commercial work in the advertising industry. Reporter Miranda Anthistle takes a look at the success of one grad, as well as the hopes of a student about to step into the real world. In the Artscape lofts located at Queen and Dufferin, successful graphic design artist Ashley Mackenzie Barnes lives and works. She graduated from Humber's advertising and graphic design program back in 2005 and has accomplished many things since, including the position of art director at Sway magazine and founder of Vivid Beauty Designs. Ashley says learning from professors who still worked in the industry gave her an edge in her post-grad job search.
Actually hearing stories and hearing how people were working in their fields and how they got into it and kind of like the next steps after you graduate, I think that was for me the most important thing that I took from Humber.
And it's here at Humber's Lakeshore campus where Ashley was taught the tools that have helped her along the way. And now, just 2 weeks away from graduating, is the advertising and design class of 2011, about to head out into the real world just as Ashley did 6 years ago. Working hard to finish her portfolio is final year student Karina Masherin. Set to graduate at the end of April, she says she's nervous about the job hunting process, but says Humber has prepared her well for the real world.
They give you more hands-on with clients and dealing with, we had a project where we had to meet up with the music students and create a CD for them because they're graduating. They need to give that away, so we need to see what it's like to deal with real live clients.
Mentoring and guiding Karina is Professor of Advertising and Graphic Design Dawn Lambert, who also taught Ashley when she studied at Lakeshore. Dawn has been at Humber for 20 years and says there is a common thread between the two young women.
They both have talent. The most important thing, though, is not so much the talent, although you need that. It's the motivation, the willing to learn, and to just keep on being curious about things and just keep growing.
Back at the Artscape lofts, Ashley offers this advice to Karina and her fellow classmates.
Really find out where your passion lies. I mean, I really liked magazines, so really find out what interests you. Go find the key people in those places and start putting out your book.
Just as their artwork and designs are a constant work in progress, so are Ashley and Karina's careers. But like a blank canvas, their futures are filled with endless possibilities. Miranda Anthistle, Humber News.
Thanks, Miranda. And now for something completely different, a look at the art of laughter. Humber has a comedy writing and performance program. Humber News reporter Kristen Sampiris checks out the hijinks of some of Humber's funniest.
Well, good, don't laugh, because...
Comedy is just a laugh to most people, but to some Humber students, it's a serious business. Phil Moorhead graduated from Humber's comedy writing and performance program in 2006 and has become an audience favorite at the Double Deuce Saloon.
Sometimes I'll be walking down the street with my girlfriend and she says this. She's like, oh, I wish that we just had a big stroller that you could push me around in. I'm so tired. And I eventually was like, you mean a wheelchair? You just are wishing that you were in a wheelchair.
Moorhead says he learned to apply his personality and creativity on stage.
And that's something that I learned in Humber, was that it's you take whatever you are and then you apply that and you figure out who you are and how to present yourself and how to present that on stage and make it funny.
Fellow comedy grad Mac Loran says the industry experience he gained at Humber has helped him prepare for future performances as a comedian.
To do a stage like Yuck Yucks with so many people there is something that would have taken a lot of time to get to. And so, I mean, access to that would have been, it was huge.
The comedy writing and performance program is offered at Humber's Lakeshore campus, where students get a chance to network and build their onstage presence. Humber's comedy faculty is comprised of many professionals who are still currently active in the industry, such as Robin Duke, who explains networking is an important part of the comedy business.
By virtue of being together in a classroom, and they create their own sketch comedy groups, and they network that way with one another after school. I think they keep in touch with one another, and they form a community, and then they also add on to the community that exists.
Comedy comes in many different forms, such as silly songs, as well as anecdotes and impressions. The Double D Saloon welcomes all forms of talent to their stage. Phil joins many local comedians here at the Double D Saloon every Wednesday night to showcase his talents. Open mic nights allow comedy grads to get their names out there and begin to build their career as a comedian. Kristen Sampiris, Humber News.
Thanks, Kristen. Those possible stars of the future could be among some distinguished company. Humber has produced some of the best-known personalities Toronto has to offer. Award-winning television host George Stroumboulopoulos has become one of Canada's most successful television and radio personalities. Strombo is a graduate from Humber's radio broadcasting program and was inducted into the Radio Humber Hall of Fame in 2007. He has interviewed the world's most famous and controversial figures on his Gemini award-winning talk show, The Hour. Torontonians may go to bed with Strombo, but they wake up to Dina Pugliese. Dina is a co-host of Breakfast Television and a graduate of Humber's broadcast journalism program. She can be seen on BT with co-host Kevin Frankish, keeping the audience informed and entertained while interviewing local guests and Hollywood celebrities. But Humber alumni aren't always sitting down on the job, they're out in the field as well. Known as Toronto's weather specialist for CTV's News at Noon, Anwar Knight also graduated from Humber's radio broadcast program. At first, Knight had success on the radio, but eventually made the transition into television as a reporter in the CTV News Toronto team. Anwar was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma last year and created a blog to document his treatment. He took a brief hiatus from his reporting duties but returned to CTV earlier this year in top form.
Hope Bridget and I will be on that Hall of Fame soon. When we come back, we'll hear about your hopes for life after graduation and take a look at the job market. We'll also hear about one Humber athlete who's hanging up his badminton racket. Much-beloved badminton star Charlie Lay is moving on from Humber, and we may be losing a great player, but he's building a bright future in architecture.